Being like a streamer or any face on the internet is harder than a 9-to-5 in certain ways because it f you up mentally.
You think it's harder than streaming?
Imagine being here all day.
All day? I ain't gonna lie, all day here.
Can't have an opinion on that unless you actually worked a real job and you actually stream.
Streaming harder than a real job? Bro, what? I get to hang out with my people for 4 hours a day, bro. I wake up at like 2 p.m. every day, get up, don't do nothing all day, and I sit here and stream, bro.
I dare one of these 9-to-5 Starbucks workers to do what I try to do.
People confuse hating your job with it being hard, bro. Just because you hate your job doesn't mean your job is hard.
I genuinely think that streaming is harder than an actual job.
Is streaming harder than a 9-to-5? Is the question we're all wondering today. The question without a solid yes or no answer. And to sum it up for you guys, it depends. And for the sake of today's video, we're gonna go ahead and include content creation as a whole, not just streamers, meaning everything from posting on social media, YouTube, streaming itself, or just people that record on a day-to-day basis. Now, so you can tell by the intro, streamers themselves have a mix of opinions when it comes to this question. We have somebody like PlaqueBoyMax who says that he thinks it is.
Being like a streamer or any face on the internet is harder than a 9-to-5 in certain ways because it f you up mentally. Now, waking up every day and go to a job and lifting boxes, like depending on what you're doing, that's tough too. That shit is hard. That shit is very hard, especially when you're doing a job you don't enjoy doing. That's tough. That's with your mental. You might want to, you feel me? You might be tired of it. You might be unhappy. But being a face, like being a top streamer, is difficult. I'm telling you, gang. You are literally seeing thousands of give their thoughts on you every second. That's not supposed to be. Like, no human brain normally should be able to tolerate that. Just keeping it up. I'm telling the truth.
And somebody like CaseOh who says, no, I get to have a good time and then hang out with my friends.
Streaming harder than a real job? Bro, what? I don't remember who it was on YouTube. Before I was a streamer, I saw a YouTuber say, like, you wouldn't understand until you get in this position. This is more difficult than just normal 9-to-5. Well, guess what, chat? I am in the position and I can sit here and tell you it's not even close to as hard as a real job. I ain't about to sit here and tell y'all like, oh man, I'll be working hard. Bro, I don't! Dude, I sit here and stream every day. Do you know what I get to do for a living, bro? I get to hang out with my people for 4 hours a day, bro. I wake up at like 2 p.m. every day, get up, don't do nothing all day, and I sit here and stream, bro.
But I've broken down 5 major key points to go ahead and let you guys decide whether streaming and content creating is harder than a 9-to-5. Before we get into it, I want to say that I am somebody that's experienced content creating, recording every day, and also have my fair share of streaming every day for a decent amount of time. At one point, streaming Fortnite on YouTube was my main source of income. This was, I believe, somewhere around like 2021 during the COVID pandemic. And at the same time, I am somebody that's had multiple 9-to-5 jobs in the past, so I think that to answer this question, you need somebody like me that has had a 9-to-5 and has content created / streamed for a living. Anyways, enough rambling. Without further ado, let's get right into it. Let's go ahead and start off with the different types of 9-to-5s. There are 2 different types of 9-to-5s. There are career jobs, 9-to-5s like being a surgeon, TV producer, a chef, an entrepreneur, something that you either have to study for or something that you can't really clock out yourself from. Obviously, running a business, you have to work the overtime hours. There's no such thing as necessarily clocking out because you're running a business. For these situations, I would say obviously streaming and content creating is not necessarily harder than these types of jobs. I want to say, if anything, it's about an equal balance when it comes to these career jobs. We're going to get deep into it. I'll explain why I think this. And then we have regular 9-to-5 jobs. I'm talking about retail or food service, anything like working at a restaurant or anything of those lower tier 9-to-5 jobs. Being a bagger, I know working at like Amazon warehouses is a big one that a lot of people do, or like being a caregiver. I want to say that these types of jobs are not necessarily harder than being a streamer. I'll get into why in just a second. Of course, everything is situational. Some of these jobs might be harder than others. Some companies might have a lot more pressure than others. Now, one thing to know is that streamers and content creators are entrepreneurs. They're either running their own business or they're self-employed, which there's a lot of ups and downs to both of these things. On a lower scale, when you're starting off as a streamer, even if you're doing it full time, you usually do things yourself. You have to come up with the stream segments, the concepts, clips, what game am I playing, what's trending, do the research yourself. You stream X amount of hours, whether it be a full shift like an 8-hour stream or maybe like half a shift to 4-hour streaming on a day-to-day basis. But that's where people get the misconception that, oh, that's all they're doing. They're playing video games, they're just having a great time on stream, boom, they're done for the day. When that's just simply not true. They have to go back after they're done streaming, take a few hours of their day to edit clips, upload on social media, schedule, try to strategize, yo, what's doing better on here, upload on Facebook Reels, Instagram Reels, Snapchat Spotlights, YouTube Shorts, TikTok, design thumbnails, and it's just a lot more work than people think, not to mention the lower scale streamers, the people that I guess you can say are first starting to do this full time, have to worry about taxes themselves, going to like H&R Block or hiring like a lower end personal accountant, etc. and so forth for tax reasons and all that stuff. There's a lot to learn when you jump into the content creating world. It's not just, yo, this person's playing video games all day long and that's all they do. I guess there are a few exceptions. Some people do treat it that way. They just pop up a stream. They either, I don't know, went viral on TikTok once or whatever. Somebody gave them a huge raid and they got a career that way a lot easier than most people. They just rely on like subscriptions, ad revenue from Twitch or YouTube or wherever they're streaming, and that's it. But for the majority of content creators and streamers, it's a lot more than just that. That's literally just the tip of the iceberg. Now on a bigger scale, the bigger content creators and streamers, the ones with 1 million plus off long form on YouTube or averaging 1,000 plus viewers on Twitch, run a business larger than themselves. These are the not self-employed like the previous ones, but more or less entrepreneurs. They're people that are running businesses and operations larger than themselves. I have a list of things that they have to worry about. They have to hire people like clippers, editors, designers, managers, marketers, content strategists, and a big team so they can get to the point to where everything is flawless and they can kind of just focus on the content itself. Now, obviously, when you get to that point, it becomes a lot chiller. They literally just have to hop on and just stream and be entertaining, you know, have high energy. It's still a lot of work. It's not like just anybody could do it, because if not, we would all be doing it. But you still have to deal with, I guess, the overview of the company. You're the umbrella of the company. You have to make sure that all the managers and everybody are doing their job, making sure you don't have to be replacing anybody, making sure that money's being spent on the right things, etc. and so forth. So people like Cenat, people like Your Rage, people like Aiden Ross, people like XQC have a big operation that we don't see. We just see the tip of the iceberg, like I mentioned before. And this goes for anything. This goes for YouTube channels. This goes, we need thumbnail designers, or if you're doing it all on your own, like me currently, hopefully I could get to that point one day. Obviously, there's a lot that goes into it. So just for example, me, myself, I'm recording this video, then I have to edit this video, then I have to make sure I have the right thumbnail, I have to make sure I have the proper title, do what I can on my end, and then be like, yo, Lord Almighty, hopefully this is a 1 out of 10 on YouTube, man. Hopefully it's something that people want to watch. So it's obviously a lot deeper than that. Let me know down in the comment section what you guys think so far. If being a streamer or content creator sounds easy, because if it does, yo, try it out. I wish you the best of luck. I'm telling you, I've been doing this for almost 2 decades. And the thing about being a content creator and streamer is that you have to stay on top of trends. There's different things that work. Short form content became a thing during the pandemic and it took over. Before that, it was just all long form, and now we have another form of content, which ended up to be the biggest form of content that people are consuming on a day-to-day basis. Now, this also takes me to security. This is where things get a little tough. Now, obviously, streaming and content creating can make you a lot of money. That's if you're big. But if you're on the lower end of the scale, there's no telling if you're gonna make ends meet every month. Now, to be fair, yes, one can argue, yo, why would you quit your job and go all out if you know you're not at that point yet? But I don't know, man. People live their lives how they want to live it. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. I know people that literally just went all in and it ended up working out for them. I know people that went all in and it ended up being super bumpy and hilly for them. I mean, it's definitely a bumpy road no matter what scale you're at. Sometimes you're gonna make a lot of money. Sometimes you're gonna be like, I need to tee up a little bit more. And talking about security, with that said, going back to a 9 to 5, 9 to 5 is something secure. It's something that you're gonna be making X amount of money every single month. Obviously, most 9 to 5 jobs are something we don't want to do. It's something we don't enjoy, so it can be mentally and physically draining, but at least we know the bills are getting paid on time. At least we know we can budget with that amount of money every single month. But of course, if you're a bigger content creator, you're gonna be living lavish, you're gonna be good, financially free, etc. and so forth. So whatever it is that you're doing, if you are working a 9 to 5, it doesn't have to be a streamer or content creator. Please work on some sort of a business of your own, something that you know on the side you could be doing and growing as you're working your 9 to 5 job, and eventually make it be your main thing. Being financially free is the thing that we all work for. It's the thing we all hope for to have one day. That takes me to my second to last point, and that is the physical differences. I have here streamers are on their ass most of the time, which is horrible for you long term. This includes content creators. I actually edit for bigger YouTubers myself, and I make content myself. Now, sometimes you guys see me standing up when I have my desk stood up, which is a healthier alternative to have whenever you're on your ass all day long. Obviously, sitting down is not something you want to do for long periods of time because the health implications it comes with later on, it's just horrible. It's bad. So that's why a lot of the content creators that are already financially free, the bigger ones, they go to the gym, and that's something that everybody should be doing in the first place anyways. At least going for walks around your neighborhood, maybe for like 30 minutes a day or something. This obviously doesn't apply the new meta of content creators that are doing the IRL streams. Obviously, they're traveling, walking all the time, and there's obviously things you could go about this to be healthier. Like I said, whether you buy stand-up desk and maybe to add on to that, buy a little treadmill to have. I know some streamers literally are walking while they're streaming. Like, even if it's on your setup, you could still find ways to kind of be healthier, eat healthier, drink a lot of water, all that good stuff. And of course, 9-to-5s are more physically exhausting. Working at a warehouse is not easy when it comes to your back, when it comes to the actual physical stress that you have to put up with. And of course, 9-to-5s can be mad annoying. Dealing with people, being in customer service, like, bro, that stuff, don't get it twisted, bro. I worked at Target, I worked at Staples. Oh my gosh, some of the stuff that people make you deal with, bro, it's just so annoying, and they blame it all on you, like if you're just not a worker there that is working for like a big corporation. But it's like, yo, this is just how it is. I just work here, that's how it goes. Like, stop fucking annoying me. And that takes me to the last point that I have for today's video on whether streaming is harder than a 9-to-5, and that is mental health. Now, with content creation, streaming being more of a business owner slash self-employment type of path, any type of self-employment requires you to have a lot of mental strength. You have to be tough when it comes to the mental, and you have to be very disciplined, because at the end of the day, it's all up to you. Whatever you put in is what you're gonna get out. That's just how this world works. And with 9-to-5s, I mean, you could have shitty people to deal with, whether it be your bosses or customers or whatever, but besides that, it's mostly just rinse and repeat. It's something you're doing every single day. Not much is changing. As opposed to content creation, you have to stay on top of trends. Depends what type of content you make as well. So, but yeah, let me know your thoughts down in the comment sections below on what you think is harder. Is streaming and content creating harder than a 9-to-5, or is a 9-to-5 harder? Me personally, I think that somebody like myself that has experienced both sides of the world can definitely give you the better input on this. And once again, the answer is it depends. I think that when it comes to the lower end, the lower skill jobs, yeah, I would say it's definitely harder. When it comes to the career jobs, I would say for the most part, they're balanced. Maybe it could be easier in terms of like a fucking neurosurgeon or something like that. Obviously, you're dealing with people's health, people's lives. With content creation, you just have to be entertaining. That's more or less like being an actor, being a TV host, or something along those lines. Once again, let me know down in the comment section below what you guys personally think. Let me know if there's any other topics you'd want me to talk about and cover. As well as check out my social media down in the description box below. Drop a like, a comment, subscribe with post notifications on to never miss another video like this. I hope you guys have an amazing holiday season 2024. Blessings and the best of times for everyone. That's what I'm hoping for. That's what I'm praying for. And that's what I'm wishing for all you guys watching. Also, if you guys are interested in any of the equipment that I use, I will be linking that down in the description box below. I have an Amazon shop that will be in my description boxes moving forward in case you guys are interested in any of the equipment or just want to know what I use. You guys can use that, and it gives me a little kickback, helps me out, supports me. So anyways, always, God bless, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Virux out. Peace.